A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Spake unto Moses, saying, Command the children of Israel that they bring unto thee pure oil olive, beaten for the light, to cause the lamps to burn continually in the tabernacle of the congregation, and it shall be a statute forever in your generation.
The eternal light. The National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations make free time available to present The Eternal Light in cooperation with the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. Our drama today by Morton Wishengrad is entitled The Search and features Mitzi Gould as Jenny Ahrens.
To see her at Landsberg. She'd just been transferred from Buchenwald. She spoke to no one. She was content to sit. Her face was limp, pale. Her hair was gray, her nose pinched, her eyes faded. A rusty safety pin fastened her coat. A shabby pair of men's shoes encased her feet. I held her transfer card in my hand. She looked 61. The card said age 31. Her name was typewritten on the card, but I asked her what it was. It was something to talk about. I asked her name twice.
Ahrens. A-H-R-O-N-S. Jenny Ahrens.
Landsberg is one of the best DP camps. I hope you like it here.
Ahrens. A-H-R-O-N-S.
Yes. Yes, I know. I'm glad to know you.
A-H-R-O-N-S.
You spell it very well, Jenny. Extremely well.
Number 1900062.
This is Landsberg, Jenny. Here there are no numbers.
Ahrens. A-H-R-O-N-S.
Yes, Jenny. Yes, of course.
A-H-R-O-N-S. Jenny Ahrens.
She was dead. Jenny Ahrens was dead. Jenny Ahrens was a number. Her flesh was warm, but you could touch the flesh and find no spirit. Her eyes were open. The pupils dilated, the pupils contracted. But you could probe her eyes and find no light.
A-H-R-O-N-S. Jenny Ahrens. 1900.
I was the second to see Jenny Ahrens. I'm the physician of Camp Landsberg.
the midwife of anguish. I count the pulse of the damned. I watched her eat.
Eat, Jenny.
She swallowed without chewing. I've seen a Cretan eat like this, but she was no Cretan.
Another plate, Jenny.
Jenny Ahrens, this is Landsberg. You are liberated. Jenny Ahrens, it is a new time for you. You will eat from hunger, but not from fear. Do you understand?
19062.
Shall I make out the report, Doctor?
No. There have been 12 reports on Jenny Ahrens. Those are enough reports. Let's see what she needs and let's give it to her. I am a physician. A physician must understand more than what the flesh requires.
How do you look for a missing soul? How do you find it? And when it's found, how is the soul nurtured? And with what? Slowly, we rouse Jenny Ahrens.
Jenny, we found this picture.
This is you, Jenny, isn't it? And your husband?
The little girl is your daughter, isn't she?
She has fine blonde hair, Jenny. Very pretty.
Pretty. Yes, pretty.
Jenny, is your husband still alive?
No,
Are you sure, Jenny?
he is dead. I saw.
And the child?
Also dead.
Are you sure?
They took her.
Then you don't know that she's dead.
They took her. She is dead.
You are not sure. She could be alive.
Nothing is alive. She is dead.
You have no proof.
No,
Then perhaps somewhere here or elsewhere she is alive.
no,
Jenny, it is so easy to say yes.
no,
Then say maybe. Maybe is such an easy word.
no.
Say it, Jenny. Say, maybe my daughter is still alive.
Maybe.
Say the rest of it.
Maybe my daughter is still... It is not possible.
Maybe is possible. Perhaps.
Perhaps.
What is her name, Jenny?
Was.
No, is. What is her name?
Maybe.
All right. Then maybe her name is...
Maybe Ilse.
Ilse Ahrens. A pretty name.
Ilse Ahrens. A-H-R.
No, Jenny. You're tired. No more questions.
Jenny, look. Here's a doll. Perhaps Ilse had a doll like this. It comes from America. Listen. Don't cry, Jenny. It's your doll. No one will take the doll away. No one. No one ever.
The scalpel has not been made to lay bare a human soul, for the soul is not exposed. It arises. It wells forth of itself. It is beyond the chemical formula for bone and for tissue. It has no substance, yet it extinguishes the learning in books and the knowledge of all that is not in the heart. The soul arises, even the soul of Jenny Ahrens.
Ilse.
How old was she in this picture?
3 years. 3 years, 1 month.
Jenny, where was the picture taken?
I do not remember.
The word Poznan is printed on the back of the photograph. Was it in Poznan?
Perhaps.
Try to remember, Jenny. Try hard. Did you live in Poland, in the city of Poznan? Did you, Jenny?
Yes. In Poznan.
You and your husband and Ilse.
Yes.
Your husband is dead, but Ilse is not dead.
She is dead also.
Perhaps. Maybe.
She is dead also. Maybe.
Good. If may be dead, therefore also may be alive.
Why? This is why, Jenny. Because of the picture. She has blonde hair. I don't...
You will understand. Jenny, what was the color of Ilse's eyes?
Eyes blue.
Listen, Jenny. Sometimes when children had blue eyes and blonde hair, they were permitted to live. It's the truth.
She is dead.
Maybe. She has blonde hair and blue eyes. Jenny, we have records. Military government records. German baby farms for kidnapped children with blonde hair and blue eyes.
You are saying the truth?
Yes.
Maybe she lives.
Yes, Jenny. It is something to hope for.
Doctor, shall I hope?
I don't know. I will not lie to you. But Jenny Arons, if you do not hope, then what are you?
190062.
Yes, Jenny.
I will hope.
I am the third to try to reclaim the lost soul of Jenny Arons. Elberfield is my name. Elberfield, Joint Distribution Committee, Landsberg. The doctor said to me,
Elberfield, to reclaim this woman, you and the Joint Distribution Committee must work a miracle. I am a doctor, but I believe in miracles.
And so the Joint Distribution Committee began to work. Began to trace a little girl. Maybe. Hello, Elberfield speaking.
Hello. Our Polish Government Bureau reports that there was a baby farm west of Poznan close to the German border.
Anything else?
There were 137 babies there from Lodz, Warsaw, and Poznan.
How many were girls?
Less than half.
How many of the girls had blonde hair and blue eyes?
All of them. That's why they remained alive.
Can they trace what happened to them?
Partially. In 1943 or early in 44, the baby farm was suddenly shut. The babies were distributed to private families for adoption and Aryanization.
Was the name of Ilse Arons among them?
Sorry, the names have been destroyed.
You can't ever leave hope alone. You have to help it. You have to work on hope yourself. So Jenny Arons came with me to assist in the search.
It is many years. How will I know her?
You will see her. One day you will see her and you will know her.
But how can I search for something that may be dead?
You're also searching for yourself. Jenny Arons, at least you are entitled to yourself. Come, we're going to Augsburg. There's a promising lead.
Yeah, in the next room, Mr. Elberfield.
Jenny, this is our field representative in Augsburg. Schindler, tell her what you've done.
There's evidence that some of the children from the baby farm were sent to Ingolstadt, Erlangen, Kronach, and Augsburg. We have marked the places on the map.
These little flags.
Yes. These 5 towns here, and then toward the southeast, Regensburg, Degendorf, Passau, 3 more towns.
Jenny, if Ilse is alive, she may be in one of these 8 towns.
These children will have no German birth certificates, or else their birth certificates will be forgeries. We have ways of telling a forgery.
Then, somewhere here, one of these children.
Say it.
Ilse. Maybe.
And maybe in the next room. Maybe through the door.
You said I will know her.
If she is there, you will know her. Schindler, how many children are in that room?
3. They had no birth certificates. The stories of their alleged parents were false.
Jenny, I want you to go through that door.
I will go. They are good children.
No?
No.
Poor Jenny?
You said I would know her. I looked in their faces.
All right, Jenny. Come.
But to Landsberg?
No, Jenny. You are searching for yourself and for Ilse. Ilse is not in Landsberg. Neither are you. We're going to continue the search. From Augsburg to Ulm, from Ulm to Ingolstadt, from Ingolstadt to Erlangen.
I have looked in her face. No.
From Erlangen to Nuremberg again, and then south to Regensberg.
It is not Ilse.
She was Jenny Arendt, but she was no longer dead. Her eyes saw. She stood before a child, her lips parted, her hand outstretched, her fingers yearning.
No, not Ilse. Perhaps in Deggendorf. Maybe.
And so we came to Deggendorf. Frau Horgan, whose little girl is that?
She is my daughter.
When was she born?
October the 12th, 1940.
What time of the day was she born?
It was midnight.
Herr Horgan says it was in the afternoon.
Oh, he was away in the army. He wouldn't know.
Your husband was not called into service until December 1940.
Oh, no. I mean, she is my daughter.
Where's the birth certificate?
We neglected to... In wartime, you know how it is.
Frau Horgan, you're a liar.
She is my daughter.
Your eyes are brown. Your husband's eyes are brown. Her eyes are blue.
Yes, but she...
Your hair is black. Your husband's hair is black. Her hair is blonde.
Things like that happen. It is biology.
She's a kidnapped child.
No.
You got her from a baby farm.
No.
Her name is Ilse Arendt.
That is not her name.
What is her name? Tell the truth. What's her name? It's not your name. What is it?
Hanna.
The rest of it?
Hanna Moskowitz. Hanna Moskowitz. Hanna Moskowitz. Not Arendt. At least she won't get her.
I knew Frau Horgan. I knew the little girl was not Ilse. They knew it also. But I have done something. I have helped some different mother find her child. It is something.
Jenny.
Yes?
Remember Deggendorf. Remember this place. Because here in the month of June 1947, Jenny Ahrens found herself. Now you will come with me. We will go to Passau, and we will find Ilse.
I will go with you to Passau.
My name is Benjamin Singer, JDC representative in Passau. I found Ilse Ahrens. It was very simple. I went to the grammar schools of Passau.
Please be assured of our utmost cooperation.
Naturally. There is always cooperation in Passau when you're accompanied by a member of the military government.
These are the two little girls from no birth certificates.
They both had blonde hair and blue eyes.
This little girl is called Lisa.
Did you say Lisa?
That is her name.
Lisa is an anagram of Ilse.
Anagram?
Yes, the same 4 letters.
Coincidence.
Probably. Oh, Lisa?
Come here, Lisa.
Oh, you're wearing a pretty dress. Are you afraid of me?
Yes.
Here, I have some chocolate for you. It's a present. Take it.
It's quite all right, Lisa.
Thank you.
Where were you born, Lisa?
In Passau?
And you've been in Passau all your life?
All my life.
Are you sure, Ilse?
My name is Lisa.
He tells you to say so, doesn't he? Patrz twoja mamusia przychodzi.
Mama, could you only yes? What did I say? I don't know.
But I know. I spoke to you in Polish about your mother, and you answered in Polish.
I am German. I don't know any other language.
But you do, Ilse.
Lisa.
Yes, Ilse. Your name is Ilse.
No. No, you are mistaken. You must be mistaken. You must be mistaken. Who is my mother?
You're sure now, Jenny?
I looked in her face. It was Ilse.
And you're sure?
I am sure.
Singer, did you talk to the woman who claims her?
Yes, for 3 hours.
Well?
I can't shake her story. Jenny, we're going to need more proof.
I told you I saw her face.
Jenny.
Yes?
Think. I want you to think. Go back to your memory. I want you to find something in your memory that will identify Lisa as Ilse. Take your time.
I do not need to take time. For weeks I have gone back to my memory.
Yes, Jenny?
If you wish, you may ask her to take off her shoes and stockings. There is one toe which sits upon another toe. It troubled her later. I should have remembered at once.
Well, wait here. I'll call you as soon as I verify.
No.
Jenny.
You don't want me to go?
I want you to stay here.
But you know she's your daughter.
I know.
Don't you want her?
I want her.
Then the search is finished. Let him bring her back.
To what?
To you, Jenny.
And where am I?
Here, in Passau.
Passau, Germany.
You don't have to stay in Passau. You can take her to Landsberg.
Landsberg, Germany.
It will not be Landsberg forever.
No?
Well, I don't think so.
You are not sure that it will be anywhere but Landsberg?
No, I'm not sure.
Landsberg is sure. Landsberg. Landsberg camp for displaced persons. Number 190062.
Jenny, what do you want?
I want my own world. Can you give it to me?
Not yet.
When?
I don't know, Jenny.
When will you know?
It isn't for me to say.
Then who will say? I must have an answer. If I am to bring my daughter back with me, I must bring her to my world and her world. Where is it? In America? In Canada? In Palestine? Where?
You will have to wait, Jenny. It hasn't been decided.
I will take charity for myself and pity for myself. But shall I take it for Ilse?
But, Jenny, are you going to leave her here?
I have found her. If I leave her, I die one more time.
Then you must take her.
I will. But where? Tell me where to go and I will take her there. And if you cannot answer, then why did you wake me? Why did you call me back? Why didn't you let me sleep? Tell me, where shall I take my child?
I was the first to speak to her. I helped rouse her. I am responsible for Jenny Ahrens.
I am the physician at Landsberg camp. I went beyond the pain of her flesh. I probed for her soul. What shall I say to her now?
My name is Elberfield. I saw her eyes bright with perception. And I am also responsible for her.
In Passau, Germany, I found Ilse Ahrens. Jenny Ahrens found herself, and I found Ilse for her. But now that they are found, I am unable to say how it came about and why, and what is now to be done. We have struggled with ourselves for the answer, but the answer is not in us.
I stand here with Ilse, but I will not have your pity for me, nor your charity for her. I want my world. She waits with me until there is an answer.
If you would like a free copy of the script you have just heard, write to The Eternal Light, 3080 Broadway, New York 27, New York. And now we present Mr. William Rosenwald, Honorary President of the United Service for New Americans and National Chairman of the United Jewish Appeal. Mr. Rosenwald.
At this very moment, as more than 1 million surviving Jews in Europe continue their long search for new life and hope, An emergency conference is being held to find an answer to that search. Jewish communal leaders from all parts of the nation have assembled at Galen Hall in Wernersville, Pennsylvania, in answer to an urgent call by Henry Morgenthau, Jr., General Chairman of the United Jewish Appeal. This emergency conference is considering the effects of the liquidation of UNRWA. For, at the end of this month, UNRWA will stop all of its help to refugees. The conference must also deal with the problem of the movement of large numbers of refugees in Europe who are seeking to find new homes in Palestine, in the United States, and in other lands. There are hundreds of thousands of unfortunate human beings who are part of that conference, for their plight and their need are not merely conference subjects. They are a burning challenge to the heart and conscience of all Americans. 1,400,000 Jewish men, women, and children have emerged from the Holocaust of Hitlerism. The need for new homes is tragically urgent. Some have gone to Palestine to build the miracle of blooming deserts. Others have arrived on our shores where, as new Americans, they are achieving our way of life, and, more important, are contributing generously to it. But the great majority remain in Europe, where they must be helped until such time as they emigrate or until they reestablish their lives in democratic countries. Rehabilitation and reconstruction programs are underway in Europe. We cannot leave this work half completed. The United Jewish Appeal calls for a positive answer. It seeks help for the Joint Distribution Committee in assisting these people in Europe, for the United Palestine Appeal and its resettlement work in Palestine, and for the United Service for New Americans aiding immigrants to our shores to achieve the freedom and security we know so well. You can offer the helpless and disinherited refugees opportunity to live decent, self-sustaining, and dignified lives. You can offer a gift of life that will end their long search for new hope by your participation in the United Jewish Appeal. Let us end that search now and forever. Let us prove that victory and peace are universal blessings to be shared by all. Let us prove that our fellow human beings in need have not been forgotten.
Thank you, Mr. William Rosenwald. Today's script was written by Morton Wishengrad and featured Mitzi Gould as Jenny Ahrens. The music was composed by Morris Mamorsky and conducted by Milton Cadens. Cantor David Putterman sang the liturgical introduction, and the entire production was under the direction of Walter McGraw. Free time has been given by the National Broadcasting Company and its independent affiliated stations to present this program in cooperation with the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. For a free copy of today's script, write to The Eternal Light, 3080 Broadway, New York 27, New York. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
Saying, command the children of Israel that they bring unto thee pure oil olive, beaten for the light, to cause the lamps to burn continually in the tabernacle of the congregation. And it shall be a statute forever in your generations. The Eternal Light.
The National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations make free time available to present The Eternal Light, a program which comes to you under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. Our story today by Arnold Pearl is entitled How the Sabbath Was 7 Minutes Late in Tel Aviv. Featured as Reb Gabriel is Edgar Staley.
This is about how the Sabbath was 7 minutes late in Tel Aviv. And whose fault was it? Mine, Reb Gabriel of Tel Aviv, Palestine. Mine. Not ancient history, I assure you. Only last week. 7 minutes late. Reb Gabriel, who blows the shofar, the trumpet, that is, on the Sabbath Eve, to announce that the Sabbath has come. In our city, Tel Aviv, this is my work, to walk around the city and to tell people, prepare for the coming of the Sabbath Queen. An interesting job? I like it. How do I do it? What does it sound like? So. How could the Sabbath be late, you're asking? Well, to tell the truth, of course, the Sabbath was not late. The Sabbath was on time. Sundown, as always. Who was late? I was. Whose fault was it? Well, I'll admit it again. Only, please, listen to my explanation. It was my fault with special circumstances, if you please. 15 minutes a week I work. That's all. But during those 15 minutes, I am the most important man in all of Tel Aviv. In the entire region, almost. For when I blow my trumpet, everything stops. Men, women, and children repair to their homes to make their Sabbath preparations. So I am not unimportant. Clocks are slow or fast. But Reb Gabriel is always on time. That is, until this once that I'm telling you about.
Good evening, Reb Gabriel.
Mrs. Mayor, good evening.
Oh, you blew just beautifully last week.
Oh, thank you.
You had a good week?
Fine. And you?
Fine. My daughter is here from Haifa.
She's well, I hope. And the new baby.
Wonderful. 4 ounces she gained in 1 week. Stop in the next time you're around.
I will. 4 ounces?
Mm-hmm. And because of the baby, such excitement and everything.
Yes.
You'll be sure to blow loud and remind me.
I will.
You won't forget.
Oh, would I forget?
Of course not.
Such exchanges, such friendships make life worth living. At my age, 63, to know that you're making a contribution, who could ask for more? Still, not everyone likes me. Not everyone is so polite. Naturally, you can guess why. When I blow my trumpet, sometimes I interrupt people. They're doing things. I blow. They're interrupted. As, for example...
Yumha, where are you running? To the library. In such a hurry? I'm playing Portia at the Beamer next week. No. The amateur theatrical group. They select me Portia. I forget to play and study. Portia. Really, Portia. Oh, that's wonderful. I'll never have enough time to learn the part, so I'm running. Oh, you'll make a wonderful Portia. Oh, what? Look!
And, of course, they're pointing to me because I have the trumpet to my lips and because it's time to announce that the Sabbath is arriving. Believe me, I don't enjoy that. A young girl, her first chance to play Portia. She needs the Merchant of Venice from the library. Do you think I like doing it?
Oh, Simha, don't worry. I have a copy at home. You can borrow mine.
Well, as I said, sometimes people don't like me. But no matter what is going on, when the Sabbath comes, I must blow. At the exact stroke of sundown, I blow. Buses, trolleys, cars, trucks, everything must stop. Sometimes I see a tired working man just home from the shop. He's about to stretch out and sleep for a little before his supper. He forgets what day it is. So as gently as I can, I blow. Still, I must be heard. So I blow gently, but loud. He gets up and makes a slight face, and then remembers the blessings of the Sabbath. So if he frowns at me at first, later he smiles. And so it goes. Everything stops except, of course, the Red Derby. Morgan Dovey. Only the ambulance is allowed to pass. Help for the sick or for the suffering. For them, the trumpet does not say stop. Their work goes on. So, now to explain how the Sabbath was late, or rather, how I was late on the Sabbath. It was an ordinary day, maybe an hour before sundown. As usual, I was in the square, strolling around.
Good evening, Reb Gabriel.
Ah, you're going, Mrs. Eisenberg. Go. It will be soon now.
Good evening, Reb Gabriel.
Reb Miller. Oh, you're coming home, I see. You're coming home soon now.
Evening, Reb.
Ah, hi, my son. You too are coming home. Well, hurry home quickly. I blow soon. Oh, how do I know if they're going or coming? Oh, simple. If they're going somewhere, they have their work tools. Books, pencils, shovels, something. If they're coming home, they have a bunch of flowers in their hands. Everybody brings flowers home on the Sabbath Eve. Everybody. Well, I looked at my watch and at the sun. Still time. So I walked a little. I saw friends, chatted a little, ate an orange that the grocer gave me. And then I came to the barber shop. The door was open, so I stood there looking in. I had plenty of time. What did I hear? A woman was talking to Figaro the barber. You don't know Figaro? Oh, a character. A real person in our city.
But who calls a barber Fiver? They call me Figaro, like the barber in the opera of Mozart. I cut hair, and they tell me I talk too much. Actually, I don't like to talk. Only people expect a barber to talk, so I talk.
Figaro, a haircut and a quick shave. And tell me, what's the latest news in soccer? Who's ahead, huh?
You see? Now I have to talk about soccer, although I'm much more interested in mosquito control. Mosquito control is a subject I could really talk about.
This is Figaro. So as I said, it was early. Still time till sundown. And I stood outside Figaro's shop, listening. I guess they didn't see me, Figaro and the young woman.
For the last time, Figaro, no haircut.
No haircut? You need a haircut.
In the AMEC where I work on the settlement, we have 2 sheep shearers.
Sheep shearers?
Who are the best? So if I need a haircut, who's better than our sheep shearers?
Who indeed?
If a sheep shearer can give a haircut to a sheep who wiggles all over the place, surely he can give a woman a haircut who sits still. No?
And art means nothing to you? Beauty?
Oh, art, beauty. A haircut is a haircut.
Is a woman a sheep? Hey, look, sit down. We'll do an experiment.
Oh.
I'll give you a haircut, a Figaro special. If you don't like it when I'm finished, you'll be fair, mind you. Then you don't have to pay.
If I don't like it? Just if I don't like it?
Exactly. Money back guarantee.
All right. All right, I'll take a chance.
Ah, you girls who work in the AMEC, it takes all of a man's salesmanship to interest you.
Commence with the cutting. You talk too much.
Uh-huh. A little here, a lot there. In 15 minutes, you'll see a new woman. Oh.
What's the matter?
Look.
And, of course, Figaro was pointing at me.
It's too late. Rep Gabriel, the trumpet blower, the Sabbath.
No, there's time. I'm only standing here.
Oh, I thought all my talk would be wasted.
No. Go and cut. May I watch?
Oh, sure, watch. Only don't make a mistake and blow.
Oh, I love to watch an artist at work. Cut, Figaro, cut. Believe me, he transformed the lovely girl from the AMEC, and I walked on. Oh, you're wondering about the lateness. Well, I looked at the sun and my watch. Still time. Oh, a lovely day. Perfect for the Sabbath Eve. Already you could feel the presence of the Sabbath Queen drawing near. Almost.
Good evening, Red Gabriel.
Good evening, Mrs. Asher. You're coming.
No, Red Gabriel. I'm going.
With flowers in your hand, you're going?
Yes, I'm going to visit a friend.
Oh, I'm wrong. So you're not coming, you're going. Good job, soon.
Good Sabbath soon.
I strolled around, out past the road, across the field, and I saw Yosef. Yosef was sitting in the field, just sitting. Yosef, the day laborer. And now we come to the real explanation of how the Sabbath was late. In a way, it was Yosef's fault. Well, in a way, this is how it happened. A very small digression, I assure you. You see, yesterday, after work, Yosef came home to his house, to his wife.
Yosef! Oh, Yosef, how did it go? So, how did it go?
Fine, Hannah. Great.
Fine. So tell me.
Well, we've got the finest work crew in all of Tel Aviv. Today we built nearly a third of a mile of road.
Oh, I was talking about building roads. How did it go?
Do I smell a baked potato?
Yosef, I'm waiting.
What have we got to eat?
I want to know about the painting. How did it go?
Oh, after supper, I'm tired.
Not a mouthful, not a speck. Tell me now.
All right. I went out. What's there to tell?
Well, I didn't open the paint box.
Oh, a new set of paints he gets. A brand new easel. Canvases, 4 new brushes, 4 or 5. And he didn't open the box.
I couldn't.
You were tired, I suppose.
Well, I was tired.
You said it. You took the resolution, not me. You said after work each day, no matter how tired I am, an hour a day I will paint. Now, did I say it or did you?
I know, but...
So you were tired. And the resolution?
I was exhausted.
So Picasso was never tired. Rembrandt was always fresh as a daisy. Exhausted.
Well, you don't understand.
I understand. You're lazy. You don't work hard enough at it.
Anna.
Oh, Yusuf. If you wouldn't try to conquer the world in a day, if you would take your time, work slowly, bite off only a piece of the earth a day.
Oh, Hannah.
My darling, paint. Paint poorly, paint badly, paint fair, but paint.
You're right.
I am right.
Yes, you're right. It's hard, but it's important. And it's hard to be an artist in Palestine where the light is so difficult to get just right. We have to study and paint after a day's work. But it's important. You're right.
Darling, you know what?
What?
Not only do we have baked potatoes for supper, but also heavy soup.
That was the beginning of the lateness. You remember how the Sabbath was 7 minutes late? Or rather, how I was. Well, the next day, Friday, which is the day in question, the day I was strolling round at the barber's and elsewhere, Yosef finished his work on the road, and with paints in hand, he set up his easel in the field, and it was there that I saw him. I coughed, twice even. But when an artist is composing, can a mere cough bring him back to earth? No, not even 2 coughs. He just continued to sit there and stare at his canvas. Well, I walked round behind him, you know, to see what he was painting. And guess what? A blank canvas, not a stroke painted.
Hello.
What's the matter?
Who said anything was the matter?
I said it.
Nothing's the matter.
Am I blind? Is that the beginning of a painting, or is that a blank canvas? How long have you been sitting there?
Who knows?
It's hard. I know.
Hard? It's like a rock. It's more than hard.
Don't exaggerate. Hard? Yes. More than hard? No.
Well, look at the scene.
Very nice. Yes, for oils, excellent.
Can I paint it?
You can't. You're telling me you can't?
Look at it. What's that clump of trees?
Yes.
See?
Sure, I see.
But you see how the light changes it. First it's an even green, and then... Look how the yellow comes out now.
Oh, yeah, I see.
Oh, you wouldn't understand.
No, my boy, I understand a great deal. I'm 64 next month.
There are certain hours of the day, like right now, for instance, when the light is almost perfect. The sun is not too hot, and then you see the way it changes.
Oh.
The other times the sun glares so everything's blurred.
It's a difficult problem.
Worse than difficult, it's impossible.
Don't exaggerate. Difficult? Yes. No, I won't say it. No.
Still, I took a resolve to paint. I'll paint. My wife says I'm lazy.
Hannah? She's wrong.
No, she's right.
She's right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, she's right. So pack up and go home.
No, I'm going to paint.
So you see, she's wrong.
Once I painted in France.
You're from France? Oh, great painters, the French.
I studied there as a young man.
Oh.
Then I came here. And now I've got to learn all over again. This landscape isn't France.
Why? Are the trees in France so different?
No, that's not it. But I feel I'm not able.
It's a common feeling.
No, not that. It's just that. Well, I sit here. The lovely clouds, the moving sand, the richness in the trees.
The way he says that.
I'm sitting with ghosts.
Ghosts?
Well, not that kind of ghost. But the greatest ghosts of all times. The presences of the great. Here, there, all around.
Huh? I must have missed them.
No, I mean... Look, can you paint the Lake of Galilee like you paint any other lake?
You can't?
No.
What?
It's a lake. It's part of history. Some of the greatest events of all time happened there. It requires special care to paint it.
Oh, I see.
Or Mount Gilboa. You want to paint Mount Gilboa, where Israel met the Philistines in battle. You can't just paint it. You must understand it, feel it. It makes you humble in its presence.
It's a very high mountain, yes.
And Carmel. To the left is Carmel, see? There Elijah won against the prophets of evil.
Oh.
Can you paint Carmel just like that?
Oh, now I begin to understand.
That road. Maybe Jeremiah walked on that road. Maybe there he proclaimed his lamentations. A road, then, is not merely a path between two fields, huh? It's, well, you see what I mean?
Yes, my boy. I see. It's very difficult.
So I sit. Who am I to paint this greatness? I'm Yusuf, a road builder, a workman. Painting in the land of the foremost immortals in the world, and their shadows are all around me.
So, what do?
I sit. I don't even open my paint box.
But you will, Yusuf. You will.
I hope so.
Are you a writer?
No.
Nor a poet?
Why?
What you said before. I wouldn't exactly say poetry, but the way you said it. I said to myself, this man is an artist.
Thank you.
Now, wait. I didn't say this lightly. I'll tell you a secret. You wouldn't tell a soul.
What?
Promise. Oh, well, no, it's not so important you should promise. I'll trust you. In the old country, in Russia, when I was a boy, I wanted to be a painter.
Oh, is that so? Well?
So what happened? In a little village, where could a boy find paper to paint on and crayons to draw with? Especially the son of a father who drove a droshky.
You couldn't, huh?
I could, but I didn't. It was too hard. It was, like you said, more than hard.
So?
So instead, I, too, drove a droshky.
Oh, what a shame.
So when I said before, this man is an artist, I didn't say it lightly. I know. Believe me, I do understand.
Oh, thank you very much.
Well, so if I didn't become an artist, at least to that... Oh, the sun.
What's the matter?
The time, my watch. It's late.
What's late?
It's 7 minutes late already. I'm 7 minutes late. The Sabbath.
No.
Stand still. Don't breathe. Now. So that's how it happened. But I was 7 minutes late for the Sabbath. That was. But never again, never. Even though many times since I've been out to watch Yosef paint, never have I missed the moment of sundown. How do I do it? Whenever I'm with him, I carry a little alarm clock in my pocket. I set it for 2 minutes before sundown. Then if we talk, or if I'm doing a little sketch, he lends me his pencil and sketch pad once in a while, or if we get into a discussion, the clock rings and I'm ready on time. It's a difficult problem, I assure you. Sometimes, believe me, even more than difficult.
If you would like a copy of the script you have just heard, write to The Eternal Light, 3080 Broadway, New York 27, New York. Our Eternal Light story today was entitled How the Sabbath Was 7 Minutes Late in Tel Aviv, and was written by Arnold Pearl. Featured as Red Gabriel was Edgar Staley. The music was composed by Morris Mamorsky and conducted by Milton Cadens. Cantor David Futterman sang the liturgical introduction. The entire production was under the direction of Walter McGraw. If you would like a free copy of today's script, write to The Eternal Light, 3080 Broadway, New York 27, New York. Free time has been given by the National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations to present this program in cooperation with the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company. Saying, command the children of Israel that they bring unto thee pure oil olive, beaten for the light, to cause the lamps to burn continually in the tabernacle of the congregation. And it shall be a statute forever in your generations. The Eternal Light. The National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations make free time available to present The Eternal Light, a program which comes to you under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. Today's Eternal Light dramatization, Case History by Arnold Pearl, is based on actual incidents in the life of Walter Rivagni. Featured as Walter Rivagni is Peter Capell, and the social worker is played by Patsy Campbell.
I interviewed Walter Rivagni, a refugee, about a job in an ordinary office. I worked for a social agency. We sat in comfortable chairs, we smoked and talked. His eyes were very blue and his voice was soft. He smiled easily and often. And when by accident he brushed against me, he begged my pardon. You could pass him on the street and there would be nothing to mark him different. Yet he lived through the terror by night and the arrow by day. He survived the pestilence that walks in darkness and the destruction that wastes at noon. In him, as in none I'd ever met, I learned humility. And through him, a belief in the future of men. This is the case history of a man and also of a people. Your name, please.
Walter Ivan.
Age?
37.
Married?
Yes, miss.
And you were born where?
Zamoria, Hungary.
Zamoria. Now, what is your work, Mr. Ivani?
Dental technician. Fixing teeth.
Thank you. You did that in Hungary?
In Vienna. In Budapest, too.
I see. And under the Nazis?
Dental technician.
Really? How was that possible?
Because I'm a Jew?
Well, yes. I mean, wasn't it forbidden?
Living also was forbidden.
I see. Do you have any children, Mr. Ivani?
2.
When were they born and where, please?
Tommy in Budapest, 1943. Suzanne in Bremen, December 1946.
Oh, then the boy was born during the occupation, during the war.
Yes.
But...
So we named him Thomas. Not the name we wanted. Nathan. Not after my father's father, as is the custom in Israel.
I see.
It was forbidden, too. His birth.
I listened to this story of tragedy. So huge, so immense, it was difficult to believe that the ordinary man with blue eyes across the desk from me had lived it. His face was unmarked, his body was straight. He held his head with dignity. And he talked of crimes against humanity as if they were petty annoyances.
We had 3 days to leave Vienna. So on the last day, my fiancée and I were married by our rabbi.
Well, wasn't that dangerous?
He was our rabbi. We wanted him to marry us. Then, we left.
Where did he leave for? He left for a place where death was not in the next room. Death might be halfway down the block, but it was not in the room next door. And that was enough for Walter and Fanny Ivani. The possibility of life was enough.
We went to Prague. From Prague, when they came there, to Bratislava. From there to Brno. From there to Krakow. In time, they came to Krakow, too.
And then where? When all the doors were closed. When half the continent of Europe was slammed shut. And the swastika was painted on every street.
There were always alleys. There were always bridges under which to sleep. There was always a cave.
And in time, even the caves in the little villages were searched. In time, they arrested Walter Ivani.
They gave me a minute with my wife before taking me to prison.
Walter, what will you do?
You go to Brno, my darling. Mama is there. You go back to Brno.
And you?
Well, I'll join you.
But how?
Oh, my darling, all the answers I do not know.
The driven leaf is found by an iron hand and cast into a prison. And lives, miraculously lives. Lays plans, expects to see his wife, has hope. There was release from prison, and then imprisonment again. Did they beat you, Mr. Ivani?
Beatings? Yes. An arm broken occasionally, but murder was rare. A man with papers and a smile, false papers, of course, and as for the smile, one learns to smile. A man could live. A 24-hour job, yes, but a man could live.
And then he heard that his mother was dying. And so from some prison somewhere in Europe he escaped, and he came to Brno. To hear him say it was to hear someone say, I thought I'd go to the store and buy a hat. He heard that his mother was dying, and he came to Brno.
But when I got there, she was already dead.
You don't mind, Walter, too much?
No, my darling. You were right.
I thought it better without a stone. They dig up graves. The Kaddish was said. The rabbi was with her.
A rabbi, too. A miracle. So, if I say a few words now, she'll understand. Don't you think so, Fanny?
wife stood in the empty field and said the prayers for the dead. Lord, what is man that thou regardest him? Or the son of man that thou takest account of him? In the morning he flourisheth, and in the evening he is cut down. So teach us to number our days, that we may get us a heart of wisdom. He said the ancient words, and then, because this was an alien and dangerous field.
Come, we'll go.
Where, Walter? Where?
Budapest, maybe?
Is Budapest better?
Maybe not Budapest.
How will we live?
I'll work.
But without papers, it's death.
It's always death. With papers, without. I'll work.
The story of one man and of a million. For some, it ended in a room. For some, a camp. For some, a furnace. And for those for whom it did not end that day, there was always tomorrow. It could always end tomorrow. And if it did not end, then life continued, incredibly. If being haunted could be called by so sublime a name as life.
So when it finally happened, I was not surprised. I was ready.
All right. You, and you. Over there, you. Yes, you. What's your name?
Walter Ivan.
You take charge. March them off.
It was an honor. I marched them off at the head of the column to the concentration camp.
But even this was life. For even this, digging sewers, carrying sacks of flour, and a German sack of flour weighs 160 pounds and do not drop under the load. Even a concentration camp was life. And then the war.
They assigned us, a battalion of Jews, to the front lines. The Russians were before us, Germans behind, and in the middle, us. What did we do? Nothing. We walked. Into the minefields, we walked. And that was our work. We were the mine detectors. Excuse me, you want to hear it? Yes?
What?
It's not pleasant what happened. It's part of the story, but you want me to tell it?
Oh, yes, tell it, please. I mean, you don't mind telling it?
No. It happened already. I don't mind. So we walked toward the Russians. We wore rags in summer, what was left of our rags in winter. Some had shoes, others not. Some ate, others not. Some died, some lived. Some prayed. But if they stopped to pray, they stopped living also. We hoped only death would come directly. We hoped only that the mine we stepped on would go straight to the heart or to the head, for then a man died. Otherwise, a man would scream sometimes a day before he died. So we walked. One there, one here. And those who were nearest talked.
You were never in Bavaria, Walter?
No, Isaac, in Austria mostly.
In the village I come from, there's a woman who bakes a special cake on Purim.
Oh, Hamantash. Huh?
Yes, only we call it Bavarian Hamantash. In Berlin once, I ate Hamantash, but not Bavarian Hamantash.
How did it taste, Isaac, this Bavarian Hamantash you made, huh?
They walked and talked of Hamantash, and of Haman and Esther, and of the city of Vienna and coffee. And each day, for every one who died, another took his place. Each day, new mine detectors and new death. And they continued the talk of Hamantash and coffee. And for as long as they remained among the living, they continued the talk of living beings. For as long as they were alive, they hoped. How many died, Mr. Ivani? How many died?
Died? Who counts the dead when death is as ordinary as dirt? I'm sorry, miss, we didn't count. We walked. We talked if we could talk and walked. We walked. From Krakow to Orel we walked. And from Orel to Kursk. And from Kursk to Voronezh we walked. 1,000 miles we walked across the minefield. And for no reason, I lived. I did not die. Hence I lived. And all they said was, walk, you walk. You will walk to the Pacific. And we walked. We walked. We walked. And then in January 1943, we stopped. We stopped and listened. All of us, them and us. We stopped. The air was filled with a giant noise, and the earth rumbled as if in birds. And we, the mine detectors, looked at each other.
Could it be the Russians, Walter? The counteroffensive?
It could be the judgment day more easily, Isaac. But it was the counteroffensive. It was the beginning when they broke the monstrous back. But as we thought it happily for a moment, we knew what it would mean for us.
They'll advance. They'll push the Nazis back at us. Us, Walter. Can they stop and bother with us?
Who would see them in the lightning of combat? Who would hear them above the cannon? This was the question. But because they had lived so long with death for a companion, they remained to pray. Yes, on a field of death, a human being seeks divinity. They remained to claw the earth, to hide. And then a mine exploded, and Walter Ivanyi and his friends were wounded. But even wounded, a human life is tough.
It's impossible, Walter. No.
What a word, Isaac. Impossible. And this is what we're doing now. Is this possible?
But how? How?
Can you move?
I can move.
So, 2 bodies. 2 Nazi bodies. One your size, one mine. Take off the uniforms. Put them on. Lie down.
No.
If the Nazis come, we're wounded soldiers. They'll pick us up maybe and take us to the hospital.
And if they don't? If they find out?
Then we'll die.
And if the Russians come instead?
We'll tell them who we are.
They won't believe us.
Maybe then we'll also die. And if no one comes, Isaac, then too we'll die. Have you another idea?
The Russians didn't come. The Russians didn't kill them. And they weren't left alone. Instead, the Nazi ambulance came and picked them up and took them to a hospital.
But they were thorough. You see, others had tried the same idea. Others have tried or we tried. So, they were thorough.
Name?
Schumann. Heinrich Schumann.
You're a liar. You're a Jew.
Heinrich Schumann.
Jew.
They stamped the form, buried Isaac as a Jew in a lime pit. I was next.
You?
Wounds in thigh and right arm, sir.
Your name?
Walter Ivanyi, sir. Hungarian.
What are you doing in a Nazi uniform?
Stalingrad, sir. I escaped. We wore whatever we could. Full discipline during the retreat was impossible, sir.
Terrible, was it?
I'd rather not talk about it, sir.
Oh, I see. Thigh and right arm, you said?
Yes, sir.
Transship to Hungarian, you said?
The 2nd Hungarian Army.
Budapest. Next.
In Budapest, they put his leg in a cast and dressed his arm, and he lay with death in the ward. Death and the Hungarian Nazis. And then one day a friend came into the ward, someone from Budapest, and said that his wife was in a village 20 miles from Budapest, alive. So what was more natural in this unnatural world than for Walter Ivanyi to go to the hospital doctor and ask...
Could I get a pass, sir?
Pass? At a time like this, a pass?
My leg is fine, sir.
No pass.
Well, I was at the front nearly 2 years, Doctor. 2 years is a long time, Doctor.
So?
Stalingrad.
Oh, so. Overnight?
If it could be arranged, sir.
So Walter Ivanyi winked, and the doctor returned his wink. And he was given a chance to live long enough to see his wife again.
To walk into the room and let her see me starkly without warning. Well, that was terrible, yes? But who has time for delicacy and tenderness? For I was dead to her, and her heart was already hardened to that fact. But there I stood. Impossible. Alive. I stood there and tried to tell her with my presence I was not dead. A fact she knew 1,000 times for sure. In the morning, she wept again. Then for the first time we looked at each other and said the words that were in our hearts.
We are two in a Nazi world at war. What will we do?
We will live, my darling. We will try.
And it was then that he told me of the letter she had written.
She wrote me, you see, because the day after I met her, I was found and put into a work battalion. In the daytime, I built roads, erected barricades, dug trenches. In the nighttime, there was sabotage to do. Into the stone cells where we slept came messages from the outside world. One, a letter. I carry it with me still.
Now I listen to the simple majesty of human beings in her letter.
When you left, I loved you more because you said nothing. You knew that words were useless. So we shall have a child, my darling. A son, perhaps, born amid all their filth and death. Their endless death. A child. For somehow, with a new life, death becomes as reasonable as birth.
We named him Tommy, as I told you, for we could not call him for my father's father.
There was sabotage, he told me. Also the issuing of passports. From somewhere, somehow a press was acquired, and Swiss passports were printed. 1,000, 5,000, 80,000. 10,000 souls in Budapest alone lived because of the passports that were issued. For the others, some were sent to Auschwitz to the furnaces, and some in sacks were dropped into the Danube. And then he told me a year later, he said the word a year as if it were a weekend, as if the clock had moved from 12 to 1. A year, he said.
A year later, liberation came. The Russians came. And it was over. The rest is simple. I asked for a pass to cross the Danube. For all I knew, my wife was still alive. And the boy also. I got the pass. And walked to the village, 20 miles across the Danube. She was alive. She and the boy. We were all alive. We three. Then my brother in America sent for us. Through the Hebrew shelter, the highest passage was arranged. There was only one delay. Nothing, really. In Bryn, as we waited, she gave birth to Susanna, our second child. She was too weak to come on the boat with me, and we might have lost our passage, so the boy and I left. And when we came to America, we made arrangements for her and the baby to come. Last week, they came. And so we're together. Miss, I talk too much. My wife always tells me I talk too much. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's all right, Mr. Ivanyi. And now what can we do?
Yes, miss.
You're a dental technician. I'm afraid there isn't much.
Whatever you do, miss, thank you. I expect nothing.
He left when the interview was finished, and I filled out his card with the cold words we have. Name, occupation, previous employment, children, age. No place for the other words. Hope, aspiration, achievement, belief in self, indestructible will. No place on the card for these. Who knows, perhaps we shall get him a job. And then the case of Walter Ivanyi will be closed. He'll take his place at a bench beside some other man, and she'll shop with other women who have never known what terror means. And they could pass you on the street tomorrow, and there'd be nothing to mark them different. His eyes are blue and hers are brown. Yet look closely. There is majesty and even divinity in the way they move, in the way they cross a street, in the way they breathe. I think of the simple precept, who is mighty? He that ruleth over his own spirit is mightier than him that taketh the city.
If you would like a free copy of the script you have just heard, write to The Eternal Light, 3080 Broadway, New York 27, New York. And now we present Dr. Israel M. Goldman, Rabbi of Temple Emmanuel in Providence, Rhode Island, and President of the Rabbinical Assembly of America. Speaking from Providence, Rabbi Goldman.
My dear friends, we have just heard a stirring drama of human rescue. There is not one of us among the millions of listeners to this program who, touched by human compassion, does not feel glad that Walter Ivany did escape the terror of the night and that he did find the peace of a new dawn in our blessed land of freedom. What so many of us are prone to forget is that the case history of Walter Ivany is also the case history of many religious and national groups on the European continent today. Of those who have survived the Holocaust of war, about 1 million are to this very day homeless and unsettled people. We call them the DPs, the displaced persons. They are liberated slave laborers, concentration camp inmates, and other victims of the Third Reich. For the most part, they are this very minute huddled in bleak barracks, idle and restive, liberated, but not free. 80% of them are Christians, consisting of Roman Catholics and Protestants. About 20% of them are Jewish. Each is eagerly waiting for the day when true liberation will come, when he or she will be able to find a new home and a new life in some new land somewhere on the face of the globe. Some want to come to America. Some, many of them Jews, want to go to Palestine. Of the displaced persons of every religious faith who have already come to this country, many, like Walter Ivany, have begun to take their places as new Americans. Their skills and talents are enriching our way of life. Just as in the past, men and women from every nation in the world have helped to build American industry, arts, letters, and science. The future of those millions who still remain in DP camps concerns every one of us. Their fate is a moral challenge to freedom-loving people everywhere. How we meet this challenge will be a test of our faith in the future of man.
Thank you, Rabbi Goldman. Today's Eternal Light dramatization, Case History, was written by Arnold Pearl and was based on actual incidents in the life of Walter Ivany. The music was composed by Morris Mamorsky and conducted by Milton Cadens. Featured today as Walter Ivanyi was Peter Capel, and the social worker was played by Patsy Campbell. The soloist was Cantor David Putterman, and the entire production was under the direction of Jack Cuny. Free time has been given by the National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations to present this program in cooperation with the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Command the children of Israel that they bring unto thee pure oil olive, beaten for the light, to cause the lamps to burn continually in the tabernacle of the congregation. And it shall be a statute forever in your generation.
The eternal light. The National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations make free time available to present The Eternal Light, a program which comes to you under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. Our drama today is Morton Wishenbrad's Valley Forge and features Charles Irving.
Valley Forge. Ice is on the Schuylkill, and blood is on the snow of Pennsylvania. A fine dust of hail runs before the wind and covers the bloody footprints. But always the blood reappears, confirmation in crimson that the army remains. In the valley lie the naked, starving rabble of the Continental Army of His Excellency the Commander-in-Chief, General George Washington.
Pull up, Bomber! Pull up there!
What do you want?
There's meat in the wagon, Captain. Pull it out, Berger.
Yes, sir. The meat belongs to me.
Up with it, Henry. All right. It's veal, Captain. Fine veal, sir.
Put it down, you blackguard. The meat belongs to me.
Does it, Palmer?
I say the meat belongs to me.
Good, then we can talk business. Where are you bound?
That's my business.
You go to Philadelphia, Palmer, don't you?
I said that's my business.
You sell to Lord Howe and leave us to starve? Berger, men, easy. I said easy. Palmer, we're not thieves, we're soldiers. The Army pays 10 pence a pound for veal. It's a good price.
The British paid 10 shillings.
Why, you dirty profiteering dog. Pull back, Berger. I say pull back. Well? Yes, Captain. Back, Colonel. Back. Palmer, if you're an American, you'll not sell to the enemy and see your own soldiers go without.
I don't know anything about that. Have ye silver?
No. But we've good continental currency.
Continental currency, do you say? Give me a wagon load of your continentals. I'll give you my veal pound for pound.
Let's dump the wagon and take it. None of that, Berger. I say dump it. I say no. Do you hear me? No. We're soldiers, do you hear? All right, Palmer, you can go, but we shan't forget.
Back to camp, men.
Right.
Burger, I said back. December 1777. Valley Forge. The ordeal of the American Revolution.
What are we waiting around here, lad?
All right, move along. Next.
I'm next, Dr. Waldo.
What's wrong with you, lad? You look healthy enough.
I have the itch, Doctor.
Do you complain, lad? So have I.
But Doctor...
Get along, lad. Can you not afford hospitality to a few of God's homeless creatures? Get along, lad. Leave me to attend my patients. Go next.
The name is Berger, sir.
All right, Berger. What's with these?
Dysentery, Dr. Waldo.
A good democratic complaint, Mr. Berger. Go back and rest.
Don't you have anything to give me, Doctor?
I told you what to do. Rest.
Yes, I see. Then, Doctor, something for a man in our tent. You saw Andrews last week, sir. The fever is still bad.
Andrews. Yes, I remember. Orderly, give him some mutton and grog for the sick man.
Right away, Dr. Waldo.
Is that all, Doctor? Mutton and grog?
Capital medicine, Mr. Berger. Besides, it's all I have.
Well, I thought, Doctor... I suppose it's no use.
Look here, Berger. I'm no believer in pills or powders. I'll have none of the Boston physic that makes a man vomit up his money instead of his disease.
Yes, sir.
Be thankful for the mutton and grog. There'll be none of it tomorrow for your friend Andrews. Well, get along, I said. Get along.
So long, Henry. Where have you been, Berger? I'm freezing.
Now lie down, Andrews. I'll start the fire.
Now, here's the tinder, lad.
Oh, that tinder is wet, Berger.
Give it here, lad. The tinder is wet. But the powder's dry. There, catch it quick. That will do it. Henry, fetch some rails.
But, Berger, it said Washington forbids burning the farmer's rails.
Good, then we'll burn the farmer's house. But I shan't freeze. Fever and frost and farmers are more than I can bear.
They're not all bad, Andrews. Some of the farmers brought food today.
No, it's not them. The others, the pious, psalm-singing patriots who carry their produce to the British. I hate them.
Andrews, why don't you go to the surgery?
No. If I'm to die, I'd sooner die here.
Inside there. Inside the tent. Why is no sentry posted?
Wait, it's not my turn, Captain.
Is it yours, Berger?
No, sir.
Then it's yours, Andrews.
And if it is?
Mr. Andrews, I don't like your tone. Stand up when you address an officer.
The man is ailing, Captain.
Never mind that. Stand up, Andrews, and go to your post.
I'll go. I'll go when you give me food.
I've none to give. Boil the leather strap of your musket.
I've already tasted that delicacy.
Go to your post, Andrews. Do you mutiny, mister?
I want bread.
I said go to your post, soldier.
No bread, Captain. No soldier.
Pay him no mind, sir. He's with the typhus. I'll go for him.
Well, Berger, you've just come back. Let me go instead.
Thanks, lad. That's all right. For an old hand like me, this cold isn't so bad. Now, give us your scarf, Henry, and another wrapping for the feet.
All right.
Captain, you won't report Andrews, sir, will you? He's not accountable now for what he says.
Yes, I understand, Berger. You're a good man. I won't report him. Go to the post.
Henry, did you find him? No, not a sign. Andrews, there's no trace of him. I can't understand it. Berger should have been back 2 hours ago.
Did you look for tracks in the snow, boy?
Oh, I didn't think of that. I'm a fool.
He'll be taken for a deserter if he's found. He'll be shot. Find him, Henry.
Yes, I will.
Bring him back. Bring him back.
Berger. Jonathan Berger.
Young Henry King in the bitter December of 1776, looking in the Pennsylvania snow for
Berger.
tracks.
Jonathan Berger, do you hear me?
Going further from the camp.
Jonathan Berger.
Moving out of bounds.
Berger!
While Andrew waited, burning with fever and fear.
Berger! Oh, thank God.
Did you follow me, lad?
You'll be reported missing. They'll take you as a deserter.
Me? Are you crazy, Henry?
Then why?
Look, here, on the road. Deer tracks. All the way nearby, there's a deer run. Meat, Henry. Meat for Jack Andrews.
Shh, Burger. Someone's coming.
I have nothing to hide. Yeah, stay right with me.
Burger.
Oh, there. Oh, boy. Who goes on the road?
It's us, Captain. Jonathan Berger and Henry King.
Hello. Why are you out of bounds?
We're seeking game, Captain.
Is that so? Go back to your tent, both of you. You know better.
It's to know better, sir, that a man in our tent is perishing for the lack of a bit of fresh meat.
I'm truly sorry, Berger, but don't go any farther.
Ain't no man to stop me, Captain. Not even General Washington himself.
Mr. Berger, do you rebel?
Rebel? The word is that, Captain. Why not? The colonies are rebels. We're an army of rebels, aren't we?
Please, Captain, he's lightheaded. He hasn't eaten
And don't
today.
interrupt, lad. Captain, I ask you, what man set foot in America who wasn't a rebel? We're the most rebellious, dissentious nation on God's earth.
Enough doctrine, Berger. Go back to your tent.
Here's more doctrine, Captain.
Eh?
My musket. Good democratic doctrine, sir.
What do you mean, Berger?
There's a charge of gunpowder in my musket, Captain. That's what I mean. It makes me the equal of his lordship.
Mister, do you threaten me?
I don't threaten anyone, Captain. But you will observe that I carry my musket, and the lad here his.
I observe.
And, sir, you have only your sword.
For the last time, go back to your tent.
I'm going back with meat, Captain.
I see. I shall have to do my duty, Mr. Berger. I shall have to report you. Get up.
He'll report us for desertion.
No, not he. For insubordination, perhaps, but not desertion. Now, let's go, Henry. The game won't wait for us. Nor will Andrew's fever. Good shot, Henry. That got him. Oh, what's the matter, boy? You're shaking all over.
Am I?
Buck fever. You shot a man at Trenton without flinching, but you trembled before a deer. Oh, now, curse the war that makes a lad like you.
Who's there?
We're in for it, Berger. They heard the shot.
Surround him, Egg. It looks like we caught a couple of deserters. Don't let him get away.
Corporal, I give you these prisoners in charge. They're to wait outside until summoned by the court-martial.
Yes, sir. Provost, I know these soldiers. They're good men. What's the charge against them?
Desertion and being absent from post for this one. Desertion for the boy.
Well, I suggest you let the men go into the house or you'll have dead prisoners on your hands.
But, Captain, if I
Be
do...
a good fellow, Provost. You don't want to cheat the court-martial, do you? Let them to the house before they freeze.
And those are the charges against them, General Washington.
I see. Gentlemen, what have you to say? You may have a lawyer if you wish. Captain Ellison has sent word that he'd be happy to represent you.
Did he, General? We won't forget that. But if you don't object, General, I'd like to speak for myself and for the lad.
I have no objections. Proceed.
Thank you, General Washington. All night long I thought of what I would say. Now, it's hard to say it. General Washington, gentlemen, I've served the Army since the beginning. The boy since he was 16.
We know that, Mr. Berger.
The muskets we carry, they're our own. The uniforms, our own rags, sir. We haven't been paid. We've been sick. We've been in hunger. Yet I think I don't complain of that. Oh, I've complained about good many things like the other men. But complaint for an American is no sin.
Well spoken, Mr. Berger.
Thank you, sir. The lad and me, we fight for the colonies. We know there are many in the colonies who side with the enemy and oppose us. I think perhaps we complain most of that.
But whatever we think, sir, we've never thought of desertion because of that. No, not because of anything. We were at Brandywine and Germantown. You think if we didn't desert then, we'd do it now? I admit to leaving my post. But you know why. And the lad went to find me. We aren't deserters, sir. That's the whole truth.
Are you done, Mr. Berger?
One thing more, if I may be allowed, sir.
Yes?
In the entire army, I should be the last to desert, sir.
Why, Mr. Berger?
Because my father came to the colonies from a place in Bavaria, a place where they burned down a synagogue.
You are a Jew?
Yes, sir. Each day I praise God that I am an American, and in America.
What, Mr. Berger, is an American?
I don't rightly know, sir. Our rabbi says it is what a man is and not what he has.
Tell me, Mr. Berger, do you make texts like your rabbi when the enemy approaches?
No, sir. I leave texts for Lord Howe.
How so?
To explain to His Majesty why he wins every engagement, yet cannot defeat us.
I like you, Mr. Berger. I think you're a good soldier. Everything you've told us convinces us that you're fine men, both of you. But an army rises or falls on discipline, and you have broken discipline. I'm sorry, Mr. Berger, but for the good of the army, we shall have to make an example of you.
The regiment's all present and accounted for, sir.
Very good, Captain. What is your muster?
200 men, sir.
Where are the others, Captain? Your orders are to march the whole regiment.
The others are unfit for duty, General Washington.
Oh, I should have known. Provost ready?
He is, sir.
This is a dirty business, Captain. I'm sick of it. All right, Captain. Whenever you're ready.
Yes, sir. Governor! It is the order of the court-martial that for the offenses committed, the prisoners are each to receive 20 strokes of the lash. I warn the men present against any demonstration or outcry. Provost, the lash!
Berger. Where's Berger?
Easy, Henry. He's asleep. He's all right. It was the cold more than the lash. The brutes, the filthy brutes.
Andrews, go back to your blanket. You mustn't be up. You're sick.
That's all right, Henry. I'm stronger than you think. I'm Jack Andrews. Where I spit, no grass grows.
How can you joke?
I'll joke or go mad. Which will you have?
Water, Andrews. Some water.
It's in my hand, boy. Here. Hold up your head.
More, Andrews.
No more. You'll get sick. Oh, why did he go off for that deer, that dumb, scuttle-faced fool?
You know, the first time I've seen Washington so close. His nose is pitted with a pox, Andrews, but he laughed. You could see he was pleased by what Berger said.
The greater the crime, then. I hate the army, Henry. I'm not going to stay another day. Henry, let's go. Let's get out. Let's quit.
Andrews, you don't mean that.
I'm sick. Do you hear? I'm not going to die in this tent. Better in the snow where a man can fall asleep and think he's warm.
Andrews.
Berger. I thought you were asleep.
No. Just too weak to talk.
Throw a stick on the fire.
Go to sleep.
I'm glad you heard. My mind is fixed. If you and Henry won't go with me, there are others who will.
Andrews, you can't quit now.
They whipped you.
It's no skin off your back.
You let them beat you and you say that? Are you a man? Jonathan Berger, will you snivel and smile and give a kiss for a lashing?
Oh, you're sick,
Yeah, but I'm not mad. You were lashed.
I had a fair trial.
Your back isn't so fair.
It will heal. Go back to your blanket.
Oh, no, I'm going out.
You're going to stay here.
Why? Tell me why.
You belong here, that's why. Men like you don't run from a fight. A fight follows. Then you have to fight alone.
What's the difference?
You know what it is. No single man can make the fight, but all men together. You can't run from the fight and find what you look for. What you look for is right here.
Whose fight? The merchants, the aristocrats?
Yes, the merchants, the aristocrats. But your fight, too. One thing at a time, Andrews.
Curse you, Jonathan Berger. May heaven curse you.
Then you'll stay.
May you have the black pox.
But you'll stay.
I hope your teeth rot with scurvy.
But you'll stay.
Yes, I'll stay.
Because you believe me?
Quit it, will you? Don't plague me. I said I'll stay. What more do you want?
Andrews. Andy. I want you to stay only if you want to stay. It must not be otherwise.
Now, quit. I want to stay. You know it's so. I'm no deserter.
Don't go, Captain. I want to talk.
You need sleep, General Washington.
Let Lord Howe sleep. I'm depressed. I'm tired and weary and depressed. Mrs. Washington thought to comfort me. She sent me her Bible, Captain. Look at the comfort. It opened in my fingers to the book of Job. My breath is corrupt. My days are extinct. The graves are ready for me. Are there not mockers with me? And doth not mine eye continue in their provocation?
Close the book, sir. You have tribulations enough for one man.
I doubt myself, Captain. Am I worthy of the fidelity of the men? I've always failed.
That isn't true, sir.
But it is true. It has always been true. At Fort Necessity 30 years ago, I failed. The Ohio campaign, failure. It hasn't changed. New York, Germantown, Brandywine, failures, all of them. The campaign against Canada miscarried, lost the whole thing.
Sir, you are a rock that grows on adversity.
Before God, I hope you're right. Captain, this is a great country. There are 2 million people in it. Something will come of them in spite of our failures. In spite of the Congress that sits and talks and sits and talks and promises. Captain, we need a miracle. Where is there a miracle? Where?
Valley Forge was the miracle. Out of the ordeal and the blood on the snow and the rabble in the tents, something emerged. Spring came, and the stricken, starved men stirred and quickened in the thin April sun. The men took ashes and sand and washed their rags in the river, and they were refreshed and clean. And that was the miracle. The shad in the thousands came boiling up the river to spawn. Another miracle. At Falling Falls, the half-crazy men stretched a net. They ate the first fish raw. Then they cooked it and ate more. Then they salted the rest. A fat little man named Punch Stoyden began to drill them. Yes, he drilled them. They were awkward, they vexed him, he lost patience. But he drilled them, and they became an army. The army of human freedom that marches still. The army of...
We hold these truths to be self-evident. That all men are created equal. That they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. That among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Now we hear an address by Walter I. Sundlin, prominent attorney, speaking from Providence, Rhode Island. Mr. Sundlin.
Men and women of America, on July 4th, we shall again celebrate our nation's birthday. Let us recall the preamble of our Constitution. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of our liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. It was first written at Valley Forge with the blood of invincible Americans of yesteryear who fought and died that this nation might live. From then on, our country never unsheathed its sword except in defense of freedom and liberty. Our nation just ended a war to strike down the madmen of Europe who tried to enslave mankind. Our legions, men and women of all faiths, Protestant, Catholic, and Jews, fought tenaciously for freedom and gave their all so that our banner of freedom should not fall. Mankind cannot forget the concentration camps and the crematories, the thousands of helpless little children and fine women and dignified mothers and fathers who endured tortured death because of intolerance and bigotry in its worst form. Almighty God did not give life a prophecy of hate, ignorance, and bigotry, sins that blot, that have blood-stained the pages of history. Where did man get his godless intolerance? Let us proclaim, as long as the heart shall beat, the dignity of man shall remain inviolate and complete. During the last war, men and women rose to a magnanimity of human life to save the lives of others who were of different faiths. Recall the Protestant, Catholic, and Jewish chaplain who gave up their life belt upon a destroyed and rapidly sinking ship, who went to their deaths arm in arm so that others might live. Remember our sons and daughters of all faiths who fought and died to destroy barbarism and bigotry. Remember the chaplains, irrespective of their own faiths, who administered the dying GI when one of his own faith was not available. If in that intense struggle for life and country, men could rise to such nobility of character, then we surely should and can unite to drive out of our midst the sinister forces of intolerance. If a better world is to rise out of the rubble and ashes of the old, then such a spirit must rule our minds, move our hearts, and possess our souls as never before. Fellow Americans, with an invincible faith and an unbreakable spirit, the spirit of Valley Forge must live on and thus keep our nation a citadel of freedom and liberty for all.
Thank you, Mr. Sundlin. Today's Eternal Light program, Valley Forge, was written by Morton Wishengrad. The original music was composed by Morris Momorsky and conducted by Milton Cadens. Featured as Jonathan Berger was Charles Irving. Arthur Cole played Andrews. James McCallion was Henry King. The part of the captain was performed by Grant Richards. Cantor David Putterman sang the liturgical introduction. The entire production was under the direction of Dan Sutter. Valley Forge was originally produced by the NBC University of the Air. If you would like a free copy of the script, write to the Eternal Light, 3080 Broadway, New York, 27, New York. This program is a weekly presentation of the National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations in cooperation with the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Command the children of Israel that they bring unto thee pure oil olive, beaten for the light, to cause the lamps to burn continually in the tabernacle of the congregation. And it shall be a statute forever in your generations. The Eternal Life. The National Broadcasting Company and its independent affiliated stations make free time available to present The Eternal Life, a program which is to you under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. Our story today, The Shamed Trumpet, was written by Arnold Pearl and adapted from the short story of the same name by Chaim Nachman Bialik. Featured as Moshe is Paul Bo and Yossi is Santos Ortega. Theological Seminary of America. Our story today, Trumpet, was written by Arnold Pearl and The National Broadcasting Company and its independent affiliated stations make free time available to present The Eternal Life, a program which comes to you under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. Our story today, The Shamed Trumpet, was written by Arnold Pearl and adapted from the short story of the same name by Chaim Nachman Bialik. Featured as Moshe is Paul Dubov and Yossi is Santos Ortega. Came to Kozyavka, a little village in Russia, a week before the prohibitions. The law said no more Jews may settle in the area. We were settled a week before by the skin of our teeth. Papa cut and sold lumber from the forest, and when you make a living like everyone else in the village, you meet the authorities. You establish, we'll call it, a simple friendship with the policeman. My papa, Yossi was his name, would meet the officer.
Yossi, the winter will be cold.
A coincidence, Mr. Policeman. I just set aside half a cord of wood and marked it especially for you.
A friendship also between my papa and the cross-eyed sheriff.
Yossi, my dear friend, where did you get such a fine, fat hen?
You see this bag, Sheriff? Your Honor. She would fit in it like a hand into a glove. You think you could carry her home?
It was the same for all the others, for the peasants and the woodcutters, for everyone. As my father said,
normal relations have been established.
When Mama made Hamantaschen on Purim, naturally she'd remember that the sheriff's wife was very fond of them. And while the Sabbath meal was being prepared, what was more normal than a visiting policeman?
Excuse me, Yossi. What is that smell?
A chicken my wife is rendering, Mr. Officer. Of course, you will stay for the Sabbath meal.
In this fashion we lived. Our small house, 3 cows, 2 horses, chickens. Not wealth, a poorish life. But, as my mother said...
A quiet life, Moshe. A quiet life and calm.
Next door was the other Jewish family, the Zeligs, the only others in the village. And since in our house there were a lot of male and female children, and in Zelig's a lot of female and male children, Papa said,
we'll become in-laws. Certainly.
And since my oldest brother was 20, and Zelig's oldest daughter was 18, Zelig said...
Become? We are in-laws. Naturally.
It worked out fine. There was the Hebrew teacher for all the kids, and the path between our houses became clear and sharp, like a part in the hair. We ran back and forth so much. And when I smelled something good cooking in Zelig's house, I would run to Mama.
Mama, what's for supper?
For supper, stuffed cabbage.
Oh, have you made it already?
No, but
Moshe, you love stuffed cabbage.
I know, Mama, but couldn't you make chopped liver?
And what's the matter with stuffed cabbage?
Nothing's the matter. Only I like chopped liver, too.
So?
Mama Zenig is already making stuffed cabbage, and I know she'll bring some over like she always does. So if you make chopped liver and bring her some, then we can have both. Liver and stuffed cabbage.
It worked out fine. The only thing was the minion. We had no minion. All the men, Zalig's and ours, added up only to 7, 3 less than a minion. As Papa said,
"A Sabbath, my son, without a minion, has lost half its flavor."
For without a minion, the Torah was not read. Without a minion, we would pray, yes, but each by himself, alone, it was thin. But when, by luck, a wood merchant would stay with us over the Sabbath, or Pesa Itzi, the dairyman from the next village, would be there, and there would be 10. Oh, what a Sabbath. Then there would be reading from the Torah, and I would go out to call all the people together, and we would sing, all together, blended. A minyan is a chorus. A chorus? A symphony. What we did to make a minyan. Once Papa came to me. Yitzchak, the wandering glazier, was in town and was going to leave and could not stay for the Sabbath. Papa said,
"Moshe, no broken windows?"
No, Papa. They're all right.
You're a bright boy, Moshe. So?
Well, maybe if I broke a few, Papa, Yitzhak the glacier would have a reason to stay, and then he could stay also for the Sabbath, and there would be a minion.
You said it, not I.
It isn't a transgression, Papa.
A transgression? To give a poor man work and make a minion? Only, Moshe, make sure they're our windows you break.
And sometimes there were only 9, and one more man was needed for a minion. So Papa would look at me very carefully.
Moshe, can you hold a Bible in your hand?
I think so, Papa.
And can you read it?
Mostly. Certainly, Papa.
If I squinted, you could be mistaken for one.
I'd sing so loud, Papa.
For tonight, only tonight, mind you, you have become a man. We have our minion.
Then what a Sabbath. All day the house would have a special holiness. The pots would gleam brighter, and a gentle smile of Sabbath delight would be on everyone's face. Even Stjopa, the driver, who was not of our faith, his face too. And in the evening, Mama's time would come. Mama would light the Sabbath candles.
Blessed art thou, O Lord our God, King of the universe, who commanded us to kindle the Sabbath light.
All eyes were on her, and she would bring in the Sabbath. Without her, there could be no Sabbath queen. Then the house would be filled with loving kindness, and she would stand in the doorway, and in her eyes I could tell what she was thinking.
We live, O Lord, isolated in a tiny village in the forest. But God is filled with kindness, and He is gracious. And He remembers this little room in His tiny village.
As the lights of the Sabbath candles flickered, I think they were the warmest flames in the world, and the most beautiful. After the Sabbath, when the Queen had gone,
My brother would take down his violin, and there'd be dancing, the Zaligs and us and the visitors. And with the waning of the Sabbath, there would be songs, and my father would sing Eliyahu Hanavi. Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hakishbi. And if the butcher was there, the butcher from the next village who was staying overnight, then there would be stories.
Tonight, a story of Elijah and the prophet. Once, many, many years ago, more than I can tell.
And everyone would be still, I most of all, and our eyes would glisten as the butcher talked. Even the samovar would bubble quietly so as not to interrupt, and his unhurried words were like a benediction and a dream all mixed together. Then I would understand my father. The Sabbath, my son, is a queen. Between the honey cakes, the chicken crops, the cabbage soup, and stories, I understood my father's words. The Sabbath is a queen. Ah, I understood. The village grew. Papa's trees helped make hovels into homes. Sheep pens were built and fences. And also Papa became an arbitrator. Sometimes the sheriff was too severe, so the peasants came to Papa. So it went. The Sabbath, friendships, little Vasily, the son of a peasant who came to our school to learn Russian. He learned it, too. Except he wrote Russian from right to left, the way you read Hebrew. And also, he learned to speak Hebrew. On New Year's Day, on January 1st, we wished the peasants Happy New Year, and on the Sabbath, the peasants, even the policemen, would say to me,
Good Shabbos, Moshe.
Good Shabbos, officer.
Good Shabbos, Moshe.
Good Shabbos, Sheriff.
Good Shabbos. Such was life. And then Satan came. Satan was not a man, but rumors worse than man. There was a new governor in the province, rumors said, and new restrictions. Jews were being evicted. The home of none was safe. Envy spread. Our lives, which hung by kindness, now hung by a single thread. Taxes were increased, and then my oldest brother Samuel was taken to the Tsar's army. The peasants, they forgot the words, Good Shabbos, and started stealing Papa's wood. One night, Styopa, our driver, caught Sashka the wolf red-handed. What did Sashka do?
So tell Yossi we took his wood. Go, tell him.
So bold they became because of the rumors. When Papa went to the sheriff to complain...
I'm sorry, Yossi. I've investigated. I can't find the man who did it.
Nor was that all. A week later, Styopa, the driver, came rushing into the house.
Reb Yossi, a plot.
What plot, Styopa?
What are you talking about? Speak.
I'm trying. At the inn, just now, I heard them. It's all the work of Sashka the wolf, the thief.
What are you talking about?
They're drawing up a paper against you. The governor. A lie to get you out of the village.
They wouldn't do it.
They're doing it right now. I saw them. Right now at the inn.
So Papa put on his coat and ran to the inn, and there he confronted them.
Is that what you want? Is this what you want to do to me because that man, a thief, tells you to? Can't any of you talk? Answer me. Is that what you want?
I'm sorry. And you, Ivan? When your daughter was sick, you came to my wife. And you, too?
Reb Yossi,
Well? We were wrong. We were wrong, do you hear? To do a thing like this to a man like Reb Yossi. Ivan, get the paper from him. Throw him into the street.
I'll do it.
Get him.
Give me the paper, Sashka. You see? Into the street!
Good, you were right. Reb Yossi,
You brought us to our senses.
We might have done it if you hadn't come.
You saved us from committing a sin against a fellow man. Thank you, Reb Yossi.
Suppose we have drinks. All around.
No, Reb Yossi. Not drinks. Tread on me, beat me, for I nearly betrayed you.
My friend, take a drink. A hand clasp is better than a beating.
Well, it got no better. The rumors continued. They spread. Then came a summons for Papa from the sheriff. My father was to come the next day without fail at 8:30.
A complaint against you has come in. Anonymous, of course. Nevertheless, a complaint. I've got to act.
They want me to leave? Who? Why?
I told you all I know.
For 5 years I've paid taxes. For 5 years I brought only... Have I hurt the community, Your Honor? Have I not helped it? Yourself, even? No offense, Your Honor.
My hands are tied. Yossi.
Yes, Your Honor.
There is a man in the district office...
Who could do something?
No. He couldn't help you.
Your Honor,
No. It would be a waste of his time.
Any little thing, Your Honor. Even if...
Well, you see him. Don't say I said to, but you see him. 9 tomorrow morning. Maybe. Mind you, I said maybe. Something can be done.
That maybe was worse than no. 9 in the morning, wait. Then another maybe. Each day my father would go, and each day his face would grow longer and his eyes sadder, but the answer was still maybe. His face looked as if they had shaved off his beard, and still the same answers. Maybe. See so-and-so. Don't say I sent you 8:30 promptly. And all of it? Nothing. And then, like a shining light in the darkness, came the letter.
It's Samuel.
Oh.
He's coming home from the army on furlough.
Oh, how long, Yossi? How long?
2 weeks.
Oh.
2 whole weeks.
Oh, Yossi.
Listen what he writes.
Yes.
And Papa, dear, I got a strike.
Yes?
A promotion because I'm so good at it. They made me the trumpeter of the regiment.
Oh.
A trumpeter.
Oh, so when is he coming, Yossi?
Wait. Listen. I shall arrive on Passover Eve.
Oh.
I spend the holiday with you.
Oh, and about his bride to be about Zelda. What does he say?
Zelda?
Yeah.
Don't tell Zelda. Let it be a surprise.
Oh, Yossi.
What are you crying for, Etta? It's a good sign. The family will all be together for Passover.
We forgot the thread by which our lives hung, and everything was for Samuel's homecoming, everything for the surprise. Only, who can keep a surprise like that? With all the cleaning, all the pounding of the matzah, all the preparation, of course, the news leaked out. Well, maybe I said something about the trumpet to the little Zelig. Anyway, there was an argument between Mrs. Zelig and my mama.
Who ever heard of such a thing? Of course, he stays at my house.
Your house? Where should a son stay but in his own home?
A bridegroom must spend at least one Seder with his in-laws before a wedding.
He's been away from his own home 2 years. Mama, go away, Moshe. His own flesh and blood should become...
Mama.
What? Can't I even have an argument without you?
Passover is 2 nights, Mama. No?
So?
So, one night Samuel could be at our house, and the next night at the Zeligs.
A good idea. Yes, it is.
Oh, little Solomon.
It's settled.
And Mama.
Yes, Moshe, more?
I was having a fight with the littlest Zelig.
Yes?
Who should meet Samuel at the station. Shouldn't it be his youngest brother? He says the youngest brother-in-law.
Well, what do you think, Mrs. Zelig?
A young Solomon?
You.
be perfectly honest, I wanted to go not only to see my brother, but to see his trumpet. I had never seen a trumpet. And that morning when he was to arrive, I thought we'd never leave. First, Stjopa had to fix the horse.
Hurry, Stjopa, hurry. The Passover will be finished, and you'll be playing with the horses.
Then...
Into the house with you, Moshe. You're going to meet your brother with a dirty face? Go wash.
Then...
I'm sorry, Moshe. A few minutes. The wagon has to be decorated for the Passover. I thought blue flowers.
Delays. I think even the smells in the kitchen were trying to delay me. I almost couldn't drag myself away. They were drawing the chicken, scraping the fish, my father preparing the harosis, the herbs, grinding the spices, the horseradish, all these things till I had to scream.
Stjopa, don't dawdle anymore. Let's go.
Oh, that trip to the station. The horse trotted, the bells jingled, the breeze blew, and the words flew from my mouth.
The first night, Stjopa, we'll have sponge cake and heart cake and nuts and raisins and games.
Ah, that's good.
And guess what the second night?
What?
Sponge cake and heart cake and nuts and raisins and games. And on both nights, Stjopa, wine.
Oh.
Look at the sky.
Huh? The sky?
It's a Passover blue, Stjopa. And the lakes, like Passover soup. Even the patches of snow.
Oh, what about the patches of snow?
Little bits of matzah, Stjopa. All for the Passover. Stjopa, can't you drive the horses a little faster?
And there was my brother at the station. He kissed me, and then I saw the case, the trumpet case. I didn't dare ask him if that was it, but I knew it was. And then as we were driving back, I had to see it, you understand. I said...
Samuel, maybe they ought to know you're coming.
What?
You know. Tell them that we're getting close.
Now, what do you want me to do, little funny one, huh?
Maybe if you blew a blast from the trumpet, then everyone would know.
Would you like that, funny one?
Oh, yes.
And he did it. He took the bright, shining trumpet from the case and blew on it. Music such as I never heard. Then everyone knew, everyone heard, everyone. The horses' hoofs said it, the jingling bells, the birds, the trees, they all knew it. My brother Samuel and his golden trumpet were coming home on Passover Eve.
Please.
And then... when we got to the turn of the road where the family should have been, where Papa and Mama should be, and everyone, no one was there. No one. A peasant met us. He told us.
2 hours ago, the sheriff's men came. Everything had to go. Even the pots cooking on the stoves, the bedding, everything. Your Papa and Mama are ahead up the road. 2 hours ago. Help them if you can. We couldn't.
A few miles out of the village, we met the wagons containing everything we own, everything we loved. There are not words to say how Mama kissed Samuel and what was on Papa's face. For this was Passover. And Passover that year fell on a Sabbath eve. And our family was on a road in a wagon on this, the anniversary of Israel's deliverance. We rode in silence as the darkness fell. Then Mama dried her tears and told Papa to stop the wagon.
Why, Etta? It's time for the candles, Papa. It's sunset.
She reached into a bundle and brought out the 2 bright candlesticks. And she walked away from the wagon to the edge of the woods. There she knelt. And soon we saw two tiny flames coming from the candles. Then we heard her.
Blessed art thou, Lord our God, King of the universe, who commanded us to kindle Sabbath lights.
Those tiny flames lit up the night until it became holy forest. It softened our gloom for us, sanctified our sorrow. We watched until the candles burned down, and then we moved on to the next village. Even the horses, it seemed, trot quietly so as not to disturb that holy place. In the next village, at a strange inn, we held a Passover service. There we commemorated the freedom of the children of Israel from bondage. The trumpets? You ask about the trumpets. It was left behind with all sorts of other things when we left. It never came out and let itself be heard. Maybe it was only a child's notion. But I thought the trumpet felt ashamed.
Our eternal life story today, The Shamed Trumpet, written for radio by Arnold Pearl, was adapted from the short story of the same name by Chaim Nachman Bialik. Featured in the cast of Moshe was Paul Yubov, and Yossi was Santos Ortega. Larry Robinson played Moshe as a boy, and Adelaide Klein played Etta. The music was composed by Morris Momorsky and conducted by Milton Kadams. The vocal soloist was cantor David Putterman, and the entire production was under the direction of Dan Sutter. Free time has been given by the National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations to present this program in cooperation with the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Command the children of Israel that they bring unto thee pure oil olive, beaten for the lights, to cause the lamps to burn continually in the tabernacle of the congregation. And it shall be a statute forever in your generations.
The eternal life. The National Broadcasting Company and its independent affiliated stations
make free time available to present The Eternal Life, a program which comes to you under the auspices of the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. Our story today is The Chessmaster, an original play for radio by Seymour Eaton. Featured in the role of Nachum Lieberman is Leon Janney, and in the role of the grandfather, Edgar Staley.
My grandfather knew the ancient question.
What is a man whose wisdom exceeds his deeds?
And he knew the answer given by the sages.
Such a one is like a tree whose branches are many, but whose roots are few. The wind comes and plucks it up and overturns it on its face.
And so my grandfather knew from the beginning how my story would end. I can remember when I was a boy in Dobromil, an old place in Poland, full of shadows. I can remember studying one winter day, a blanket wrapped around my feet to keep the drafts out. I think I was looking at Koheles, the book of Ecclesiastes. There is an evil which I have seen under the sun, and it is common among men. Man to whom God giveth riches, wealth, and honor, so that he wanteth nothing for his soul.
Nachum!
What? What's the matter?
Put your book away. Vladislav's waiting. The river's frozen over.
Well?
But don't you know, Nachum, the town needs fish to get through the winter. So everybody's going fishing through the ice.
Oh, they don't need me, then.
But afterwards we can slide down the snow on the river to the bank.
But we haven't got sleds.
Oh, so? On the seat of our pants.
Mendel, I'm memorizing. Can't you see? I'd rather study.
What are you memorizing, Nachum?
Koheles. You know, the book of Ecclesiastes.
Well, why? The class hasn't got to it yet.
Oh, I don't care about the rest. Here, Mendel, hold the book and listen. I'll recite.
All right.
A man to whom God giveth riches, wealth, and honor, so that he wanteth nothing for his soul of all that he desireth, yet God giveth him not power to eat thereof.
That's right, Nachum. Word for word.
I know it backwards, too. Thereof eat to power, not him giveth God, yet desireth
What is happening here? What is this gibberish?
The teacher.
Well, Nachum, explain.
I'm studying, Reb Azriel.
Not verses I ever heard, I'm sure of that.
It's Koheles.
Backwards.
Backwards? You mean you dare to memorize Koheles backwards? That's a terrible thing. It's a sacrilege. Plain sacrilege. Unless, of course, it's a miracle.
You may be sure that very soon afterward, my grandfather heard of it.
I tell you, Isaac Lieberman, you must make your grandson into a scholar. You must send him to the yeshiva here in Dobromir.
But his father's dead, and the family's poor as dust.
You must manage. Whole chapters he knows, Mishnah, Gemara, to the letter, forward and backward. You must make him a scholar.
Well, of course, we'll see what we can do, Reb Azriel, but truly the boy worries me.
Worries? What is there to worry about?
How he loses himself in his studies. Completely. It's not natural.
So he's just a talented boy.
But that's not enough, Reb Azriel. You know that it is said the aim of wisdom is good deeds. What is a clever man who has no warmth in his heart? We may teach Nachum words, Reb Azriel, but can we teach him to have a good heart?
My mother scraped closer to the bottom of the pot. My grandfather bent closer to his tailoring, and I studied. None of us guessed that in my book of life a page was about to turn.
Who said so?
Oh, it's a rule.
What rule?
You have to.
No, I don't.
Quiet. I
Rule.
say quiet. Can't you two see I'm trying to concentrate?
What's all the arguing?
I moved my knight, so Mendel moved his rook, so I checked him. Now he wants to check me, and he can't. He's in check already.
But I'm not. Why do you say that I'm in check? Now, wait. I don't understand. Vladislav, what is this game?
What is this game? What is it? What, you mean you can't even recognize it? It's a game of chess.
A game of chess. A game of chess. It was the first time the page had turned. Pawn to king 4. Pawn to king 4. Knight to king's bishop 3.
Nachum.
Knight to queen's bishop 3.
Nachum.
Bishop to
Nachum.
knight 5.
You're so deep in that book you can't hear a word I say.
Pawn to queen 4. Pawn to
Nachum.
Bishop to... did you say something, Mama? Bishop to queen 2.
What can it be so important
Knight.
you're studying?
Stop bothering me, Mama. Everybody interrupts. Here, in school, no peace anywhere. Why don't you leave me alone? Nachum, it's nothing to get angry about. What are you studying, anyway? Oh, nothing, Grandpa. Nothing? Well, chess. Chess? A book about chess. See? The Ruy Lopez opening. I know it by heart. Pawn to king 4. Pawn to king 4.
Chess? Such foolishness?
It's not foolishness. The book's in Hebrew.
I don't believe it. A chess book in Hebrew.
Why not? It's an honored game, Connor.
No, though it's in Hebrew. Come, Nachum, put away such a thing.
Connor, leave him alone. But she won't. She won't. She doesn't understand.
What is there to understand?
Chess isn't foolish, Mama. It's a great battle. It's more than a game. It's a science, an art. Like Talmud, complicated and still logical. Even more than that. Sometimes when you play, you feel terrible power. It's almost like being God.
Nachum, what sort of talk is this? You are meant to be a scholar, a sage. I won't let you waste your time, you hear? I won't allow it.
They would never understand. Never. Unless I did something so exceptional that it would force them to respect me. And my chance came. It was the night of Sukkot, the Feast of Tabernacles. We were on the way home from the Sukkah, singing the songs of the holiday. Well, come along home, Malcolm. Yes, Grandpa. Grandpa? Yes? Have you heard? A man named Tulva has come to the city of Lodz. A scholar? No, a great chess champion. Oh. I'd give anything to play him. I could beat him, I know. I see. Imagine if I should beat him. The whole world would open up for me. The world? Yes. Then I could meet people who know. People who understand chess. And they would understand me. So that is what you want? Of course. You know chess means everything to me. True. True, it does. Is it wrong? Do you think chess is evil? You know what I think, Nahum. I respect the game. But to do as you do, to shut out the whole world, to devote yourself so narrowly to any one thing, to chess or to tailoring, yes, even to being a scholar, that I cannot respect. I've seen all sorts of men bury themselves blindly, selfishly in their work, and I've seen them lose their souls. But what is all this talk about souls? All I want is to go to Lodz. Can I go? You want me to? I don't know what I want, except your happiness. Beating Tulva will make me happy. You really think so? Well, it's so close to your heart. Go, Nahum. But, Nahum. Yes? Remember what I say. Separate not thyself from thy community. Chess is not all of life.
Excuse me. You are Monsieur Tulver? Pardon me. You are the champion Tulver?
Now, see here. Stop interrupting, boy, or you'll be thrown out. Playing chess here.
You've already won. Now play me.
Attendant! Get rid of this boy. What have we come to here?
Come along, boy.
Oh, please, sir. I've traveled a long way just to play you. Please, I can beat you.
Ah, that's ridiculous. What's that? Attendant! Bring him back.
I can beat you. Play me.
You've got nerve. I'll tell you. Play Schwanke here again. If you win, I'll give you a try.
I came here to play you, not Schwank.
Now, my dear fellow, you play Schwanke first, or you'll be thrown out. We wasted too much time on you already.
Wind the clock first, young man.
Clock, Mrs. Schwanke?
Of course. For watching the time limit, you know.
Time limit? I've never played under time before.
Well, start now, boy. Don't let it bother you. It won't take long to finish you off. So far, not bad, youngster. Are you sure you want to make that move now?
Play your own game, Sir Schwanke. I have a surprise waiting for you.
Oh, I see. But my surprise comes first. Since you insist, I shall take your queen, put your king in check, and you have practically lost the game, my young genius. Go back to your village and learn to play chess. I went back to Dobromil, beaten. But I was going to learn chess. The proud man of Lodz had not heard the last of me.
Nachum! Get up, Nachum, it's late. You haven't even had breakfast.
Oh, Nachum. You haven't been to bed all night. You've been twisting your brain with those chess pieces. Nachum, just pieces of wood.
No, Mendel. Tell them I can't help with the harvest.
But why? Everybody in Dobromil has promised except you. Svetislav here. It's true, and we'll need everyone. The landlords want their share of the grain, and there's hardly enough to go around. We can't waste a single handful.
I know, but I can't. I haven't the time.
So, you've angered your friends. You've soured your youth. And today you won't even go with your grandfather to shul. Nachum.
No, I had important things on my mind. After 3 months of study, rigorous, disciplined study, I was ready to go back to Lodz. I was ready to beat Tulva.
So, you're back, young man. I see you never learn.
In 3 months, I've learned much, Tulva. Now, you must agree to play me.
Must I? You're determined, huh?
Oh, play him, Tulva. Show him a few tricks. You'll never get rid of him otherwise.
Why not? Sit down, young man, and be careful. I never temporize with an opponent, and I never show mercy. Well, the clock is set.
All set.
Fine. Now we can go ahead. You move, boy. Well. Pawn to Queen's Bishop 4. English opening. Where'd you learn that?
Not bad so far. He begins well. So, anyone can learn an opening?
Here is a new twist for you, youngster. Now, what do you think?
He was laying a plot, but I saw it, and
I saw something else. A weakness in his defenses.
Not bad. Not bad.
Carefully, painfully, I calculated each move. My head began to pound. My hands were wet with perspiration, and I sat on them to keep from moving recklessly. But I had him, and he knew it.
So, Torva, the boy's giving you trouble, huh?
Quiet.
I'm telling you, the boy's got Torva in a pickle. He's going to win. Oh, not so fast. Why not? A few moves will tell now.
Please, let him quiet. You're reaching a delicate point here.
That does it? The boy's got him.
I yield, boy. Congratulations.
I was right. I proved I could do it. I was champion of Lodge. And now I could aim higher. Who could say how high? A year or two and the world began to hear of me. I was invited to the tournament at Kiev.
Attention. Here's the result of another game. Nachum Lieberman of Poland is now assured of third place in the final rankings. He has just scored his...
Well, Nachum, congratulations. I suppose now you'll be heading home.
Home? You mean to Dobromir?
Yes.
No, I haven't been back for months.
Aren't your people there?
Yes, but I haven't been able to spare the time. Exhibition games, matches, you know. And now they want me to lecture in Berlin. Dobromir, I just haven't been able to make it. There were tournaments at Moscow, Hastings, Paris, Vienna, New York, Budapest. Then the tournament at Rotterdam.
Attention, please. The fight for first place has just been decided. After 42 moves of the Nimzo-Indian defense, Tartakova has yielded to Nachum Lieberman. Mynheer Lieberman, therefore, wins the Rotterdam tournament.
Splendid, Nachum, splendid.
Thanks.
I hear the Queen's asked you to her 3-day reception at The Hague.
Yes, I said regrets.
You don't mean you're not going?
Oh, I've been to so many receptions. And anyway, for the next 2 months, I'll be tied up in study.
Study? For 2 whole months?
That's what I said. First, there will be the International Masters tournament at Nice. And then perhaps I shall challenge for the championship of the world. I had come a long way. My life had flourished like a tree with many branches, heavy with ripening fruit. But now the wind came and tore the tree by its roots.
Nachum, grandson.
Grandfather.
Oh, Nachum, it's good to see you.
Grandfather,
It's been
why...
so hard finding you.
Well, why have you come here?
I come to see my grandson.
Grandfather, what brings you here?
Well, naturally, son, to see you.
And?
Nachum, the harvest in our part of Poland this year has been the worst in generations.
Oh, it's too bad.
It means we'll be close to famine. The landlords insist on their full share of what little we have. They won't even listen to us. It's the season, the social season. Even the government bureaus won't help.
It's all talk.
But it's true talk.
Well, what can I do?
Son, in our country, you're held as great. Your name is respected.
Oh? I hadn't heard.
Nachum, my coming here was the idea of your old friends, Mendel and Vladislav. They wanted me to ask you to come home. Do what you can to turn away this disaster. You can do it. The men in the government will listen to you.
I guessed it. You come here now with this ghastly story just to upset me. This is the most important tournament of my life. Do you realize what it would mean, my stopping now?
Do you know what it would mean to the people of our town?
What of it? I was born in Dobromir. Does everyone in Dobromir have an eternal claim on me because of that?
We are human beings.
Grandpa, consider my position. In these chess matches, every nerve must be poised. My chance at the World Championship may depend on any one game. How can you ask me to stop now? And for what? To dance attendance on the Polish bureaucrats? So he left me. But when he went out the door, all my strength and will seemed to go with him. For 3 weeks, I struggled in the tournament at Nice, and I didn't do badly. Afterwards, I even managed to arrange my match for the World Championship. But it was no use. For days at a time, I couldn't concentrate. I had to go back to Dobromil.
Well, Nachum, how does Dobromil strike you after all these years?
I hadn't remembered it to be so quiet, Mendel. Even at twilight. What's happened?
Hunger and disease.
What's that moving there? In the rubbish?
Where?
Why, it's a child. Little one, don't. Take that out of your mouth. It's filthy.
Give it back. It's mine. It has a little meat left on it yet.
You could get sick. Now go to your mother. She'll give you something. Do you know his mother, Mendel?
Give the bone back to him, Nachum. Give it back. He's lucky to have found it. Nachum, you see that man in the field? It's Vladislav.
Really?
Vladislav! Here he comes.
Tell me, Mendel. How is his family?
His sister died of a fever last month. And his father.
Oh, I see. Oh,
Vladislav, do you recognize this fellow?
Don't you know me, Vladislav? Don't you remember my name?
Too well. Here's a house, Nachum.
Yes. Yes, I recognize him.
Well?
Mendel, tell me. How are they? My mother? My grandfather?
They survived.
Good. It's good to hear.
Well, aren't you going in?
No, I don't want to see them.
But you came all this way to...
I know. But I can't do it. It's too late.
Attention, we are just beginning the fourth game of the match between the world champion, Akil Alicante of France, and the challenger, Nachum Lieberman. The score in the game stands Alicante 3, Lieberman nothing. The moves thus far in the game with Lieberman.
It was no use. I couldn't think. Memories swept over my mind like bitter smoke. I sat with my head in my hands and tried. But I could only remember... A man to whom God giveth riches, wealth, and honor, so that he wanteth nothing for his soul of all that he desireth, yet God giveth him not power to eat thereof.
Nachum, you are meant to be a scholar or a page. I won't let you waste your time, you hear? I won't allow it.
No, Mendel. Tell them I haven't the time to help with the harvest.
We'll need everyone. We can't waste a single handful.
A few more moves will tell now.
Nachum, grandson, it's been years since we saw or even heard from you. We'll be close to famine, all of us. Your name is respected. Come home, son. Do what you can.
I'm sorry. I can't go on. It's no good. Alicante, you will forgive. I'm not a...
Lieberman.
I never tried again for the championship. Once, that title was the only important thing in all my world. Now it doesn't matter. But the prize I would give everything to have. To feel clean, human, of some use to someone. That is denied me. My grandfather knew how my story would end.
I have seen all sorts of men bury themselves blindly, selfishly in their work, and I have seen them lose their souls. For what is a clever man if he has no warmth in his heart? What is a man if his wisdom exceeds his good deeds? Such a one is like a tree whose branches are many, but whose roots are few. The wind comes and plucks it up and overturns it on its face.
Today's radio play, The Chess Master, was written by Seymour Eaton. Music was composed by Morris Momorsky and conducted by Milton Kagan. Liturgical music was sung by cantor David Putterman. Featured as Nahum Lieberman was Leon Janney, and Edgar Staley played the grandfather. The entire production was under the direction of Walter McGraw. Free time has been given by the National Broadcasting Company and its independent affiliated stations to present this program in cooperation with the Jewish Theological Seminary of America. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.